Well, I'm excited to be able to chat with you, and thank you for saying yes so quickly.
What do you mean? Thank you for honoring me with your gift of gab.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. We like the same shirts. I'm just missing Food and Beverage Magazine on my.
Oh, you saw that?
You're representing. It's so cool. What do you like about Vegas so far? It's been many years. That's home for you. But what's your favorite part?
I like people. I like the people. I like the access to the people. I like where, it's a different life. Literally. It's a whole different world, dude.
Okay, so with regard to the people, and I hit record, and I'll just say this. Welcome to the podcast, Michael Politz. Michael is the founder and publisher of Food and Beverage Magazine, and we're going to get into some amazing background. And I just typify you, Michael, as like the expert entrepreneur, and we'll go over your background. But he's joining us from Las Vegas today. He's been living there for several years because I want to get to know you, and I want our listeners to get to know you. The podcast is called Most People Don't, But You Do. I know you know my wife, Terry, very well, and a bunch of other Marylanders, Churchill High School. Go Bulldogs. All right, go Bulldogs. It's been a fun way, a fun platform for us to be able to share really good ideas with a lot of people. Michael, we're fortunate that we consistently rank within the top 2 to 5% of podcasts. I think it's because we get interesting people like you on the show, and we've been doing it. This is almost the 200th episode. So thank you for joining us, especially short notice.
Of course.
Yeah. First of all, Food and Beverage Magazine, you started that over 20 years ago. But what is really cool, like if you look at your profile, you think, okay, this gentleman is a food and beverage expert, which you are, but you didn't necessarily start off that way. You started in floral business. You designed
history.
Well,
gosh, Bart, you did some digging.
Yeah, I did some digging. So floral business, founder of American Wholesale, did some crazy great things, a talent branding client, then Nevada Restaurant Association, of course, doing consulting work, and now in addition to your magazine. And then one other crazy thing, and Michael, I want to make sure I got this right. Did you create this symbol for Bluetooth?
I did.
How? And hopefully, do you own it? Are you getting money,
nobody
checks for that?
I got a check. I think it was $1,200 in 1998. So that's what, 4.5 million today, in today's dollar amount. Yeah, it was a crazy time. That was 98. 98. That was I had the floral business.
How did that come about? I know that's not really what we're going to talk about, but interesting.
When I stopped the flowers, so I did the college, started the floral business during college, opened up my first wholesale flower facility, made Entrepreneur Top 40 Under 40, which was pretty cool. I was 28 at that point. They're on Neville Street in Rockville. That was the first location. And listen, your wife and sister-in-law and everybody would come in. Everybody, all their friends would just come in and spend the day with us. We had the best time. We'd all go to lunch all the time. And I would buy all my cell phones from Karen. It was just crazy back then. That's Karen's his sister-in-law.
Yeah.
And then once that business was done, I said, I want to go into, I only advertised on sports radio and in restaurant magazines, right? Because sports radio got the guys in the door for roses for $9.99 a dozen, American Wholesale Floral. And the other things, the restaurant magazines were for caterers and hotels and that sort of thing regionally. So wherever I popped a store up, I would always do that regionally. And I would get standing orders, which would then pay the bills, and then everything else was on top of that. Once you get these, you have a certain amount of money coming in that day, or you're billing out that day. So it was a pretty cool venture. Then I got rid of all that, and I said, I'm going to go into publishing because nobody's doing this. And every time I would advertise, I would see these guys coming in all bougie, and then I'm like, I can do that. So I started that's when I started Food and Beverage Magazine. But in between all that time, probably, I'm going to say a year it took me to start the magazine, to really decide what I was going to do. I did some consulting work, and I had an office in Germantown, Maryland, on Clopper Road. And of course, I had all these gorgeous women working for me. And back in the 90s, people were smoking cigarettes. They were. I didn't smoke, but I would always, they were blonde and beautiful. So I would follow them outside and yap it up. One day, evidently in the building on the first floor, we were on like the third floor. The first floor of the building, there was a group of guys. I don't know who they were. They're like, oh, you're consultants. Can you create a logo for us? Because I'm like, all right. So they started telling us about it. And they said, your phone is going to be able to talk to your printer. And I said, what the hell would my phone need to say to my printer? That is the weirdest thing I had no concept. They started telling me about the Bluetooth and the king and how he was a pirate and all this crazy stuff. Very different story than you're reading today, right? Like I don't even know if these guys even knew. I'm like, all right, I'll give it to you tomorrow. So I went back upstairs prior to that. And they told me at the Norway and all that stuff, the Norwegian roots. So that week before, I had just gone to some weird tarot card place, right? And I saw the runes, and they're like, oh, this is what these are, and they're from this part of the world, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. It all full circled right then. Right when that guy told me where they're from, what he wanted, and I'm like, Bluetooth, it's just a B. So I said, let's just make it's very simple. Let's just make this look like a rune because it's Norwegian anyway. And that was it. And he loved it. And that was that.
Yeah. So Michael, you were not in branding. You were just a creative guy and happened to be at the right place at the right time. And you developed, that's what you came up with.
Was I in branding? I don't know. I built a monster company for flower. So, and over the years prior to that, I was always doing something.
Okay. All right. And that's what I want to get to, Michael, because I thought for sure you're running Food and Beverage Magazine, 14 million subscribers. If I'm not using the right words, tell me. 14 million subscribers.
Oh, readers. That's web readers a month. Okay, and subscribers, we've got about 550,000.
Okay. That's so massive numbers.
To our newsletter and our magazine.
So massive numbers, and congratulations. And here I am thinking about, okay, how am I going to prepare to talk to Michael? I know some things about you through my wife and through Karen and through other friends, but what am I going to ask him? And I thought for sure, knowing what you do now, I thought for sure he was a chef. For sure he was a restaurateur. For sure his family owned the deli in Bethesda. And guess what? I didn't see any of that stuff. So Michael, just tell us about you, because I want to make sure, yes, we're learning about you, but then what can our listeners learn? So why flowers, first of all? You told us why publishing, because no one was doing it. Great. So why did you get into flowers, first of all?
Not that I'm doing it.
Yes, you are. Stop it. You are.
My dad was a doctor. My mom was a nurse. And I, somewhere along the way, got bitten by this bug of entrepreneurship or stupidity. It could be called the same thing. And I had to do something on my own. I thought I knew everything the right way to do it, right? So I started off University of Maryland, hated it, was too big, pledged my fraternity, loved that part of it, obviously too much. Then transferred over to American University and then continued my education and my degrees. And during that period of time, I would I had a friend and his mom had a flower shop. And we would go hang out in there in Potomac. And we would go hang out in there. And it was so fun to just go in and hang. And we would do this even after high school. Hang out with all the ladies making flowers and listen to them gossip and all that crazy. I can't even tell you the conversations we had. It was always about the church lady. It was always about something funny on SNL. It was all this great stuff. I'll never forget it. And then I said, oh, how do you do that? And they started explaining the business to me. You would buy roses. They would come in packs of 25, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, I can do that. Not a big deal. I can go to the wholesaler. Yeah. You don't need a license. It was all like, oh, you need a special license. And it was all BS. No, you don't. You know what your special license is? Cash. Andrew Jackson. He'll buy anything. You just hand him a $20 bill. You can get whatever you want. There's your license. Yeah. It's the same as the valet parkers in Vegas when they say, are you staying at the hotel? And I always say, no, but Mr. Jackson is. And then you get your spot. You're done. You walk in.
Of course. All right. So already you're teaching us some things. I'm gonna pause once in a while, Michael, just to make sure our listeners are learning what I'm learning and what I'm getting a sense from you. Is that so the name of the podcast on our company is Most People Don't, but You Do. Obviously, you do. And I was listening to another speaker recently, and he was talking about all people have to do is start. And all you need to do is take the first step. And you just shared, Michael, that there's a whole lot of reasons why people are telling you no. You need a license, you need a certification, you need a warehouse, you need that. And you're just like, no, I can do that. I can do that. That must take confidence.
I probably said so.
Oh, okay. So two things I want to get back to. You were bitten by the entrepreneur bug. Was it at that moment? Do you remember? Was it when you were hanging out with the floral people? And I'm seeing a lot of common threads. You like hanging out with people talking. Blondes pay into it. So I'm glad I found my wife before you had a chance to steal her.
I would never.
So all of those things, is that when you were bitten by the entrepreneur
No, way
bug?
before that.
Okay,
Way before that.
okay,
So
give
when I
us.
was younger, I remember being probably like 8, knocking on people's doors, selling greeting cards
Okay.
so I could get this prize of a trumpet. It was the weird. I don't even know what I was doing. I was moving these boxes everywhere. So I remember doing that. I remember getting the trumpet. It was like a disillusion by the time it got to me. I'm like, this is like a Timu thing now. You know what I mean? It's like a mini trumpet. I did that. And then when I went to Maryland, I started selling t-shirts. And I actually did start another publication called The Billfold. And we would like have the advertisers be like all the pizza places and everything. And then we would just distribute this like stupid thing. Like it was just so stupid, but so simple. Right. It was so simple. It was like, okay, you go to the VU, you tell the guy you want to advertise, I'm putting out 10,000 of these. And he's like, okay, here's $500 and you're done. And you just keep doing it the same way.
Yeah. So Michael, what do you think influenced you to be the type of entrepreneur that you are? Your dad was a doctor, your mom was a nurse. Did they have their own practice?
Yeah, my dad had his own practice. So technically he was a businessman. Right? Very successful. On Rockville Pike in the Forum building, had a beautiful office. I always saw that, and I always saw success. What I did notice growing up was a lot of the success that we saw was generational, and I noticed the hardworking part was the grandfathers, right? So I would spend as much time with those guys as I could. Luckily, they were still alive. I would go to this place called Celebrity Deli on Neville Street. And my dad's friend owned it. My parents went to high school and everything in DC or Washingtonian, so they knew everybody. So I would go every morning, 7:30. I'd be there, and I would sit with all the guys who owned these great businesses, but they all started it. And then big dark drug, like you would see like big grocery store chain. These guys literally were moving products by themselves at one point, right?
Yeah, I'm sure car dealerships too, right?
Oh yeah,
everything.
What's his name? Person. All those guys were there. All those dudes, Jerry, like all of them. And I just wanted to learn everything, get absorbed. I don't know why or what. I love their personalities. Even like sporting goods stores. There's one place called Irving's. The owner, I would always sit with the owner for that. Yeah. And I just learned from these guys and listened and watched. And one of the things that I did notice was there was no pomp and circumstance with these guys. They were fun. They were happy. They told it like it was. They were straight, honest with you. It wasn't. But then you would see the guys the sons, the developers, whose father made it big accidentally from being in whatever business they were in. I can tell you what business they were in, and then you would see the difference in quality of people.
Okay, yeah.
And then it gets one more generation down, and it gets even worse. You see the difference in that quality. Wow. And it's almost embarrassing to the founding father of that family to see how it's
fine.
Yeah.
And so is it, I'm going to make some assumptions here. Is it that hardworking, and I love that, Michael, you wanted to learn from the grandfathers and from the founders, the grand founders, that's probably a word. You wanted to learn from them because they were nice. They told it like it is. They didn't mind teaching you, and you were inquisitive. And then you begin to see that the generation after that probably got that money without putting in all of the hard work was a little maybe jaded, a little bit entitled, a little bit not as hardworking. Did you begin to see that?
Oh, yeah.
How would you describe? Is it values? Is it less values? Is it less kindness? Is it less gratitude? How could you summarize what you saw at the funnel? All those things?
I think definitely less gratitude and appreciation. They were trying to be nice, but they couldn't be their dad, right? Like perfect example right now in our times is Al Davis built the Raiders, right? Everyone knows the stories of Al Davis and what a maniac he was. He came out of Brooklyn, no money, built this great, and the same thing with Dr. Buss, Jerry Buss, same thing, right? Yeah. And if you look with the Lakers, if you look at how these guys told it like it was, enjoyed life. They hard work and
Mhm.
loved every second of it, right? And it's interesting because I see that today, and then you see the son who's now running the Raiders or whatever, and it's a little bit of entitlement, right? Like he's
Mhm.
okay, he's nice. I talked to him a couple of times, he's okay.
Yeah.
But it's very different than could you have created this? Could you have
Wow.
built this legacy? And then you start looking around and saying, could you have built this? Could the sons and daughters in the whole DC area have built what their fathers did? Could they start from
are
zero?
old.
Start from zero and do that.
That's hard. Michael Politz, you realize that you are an old soul, right?
If that's such, I don't know. I think I'm a young soul. I
Okay.
don't know. I just see,
You
I
know
don't
what?
know. I see that I'm very attuned to people, individuals. I walk into a room now after a long process, as I walk into a room now and I wonder, who am I going to like? Most people walk in a room and wonder who's going to like them.
Yeah.
And that's the difference, right? And these
Yeah.
guys, and if you saw the old guys,
Mhm.
they were like that. But this is something that I had to learn. It took me 30 years longer after meeting these guys to figure out. But they walked in the room and went, hey, who am I going to like in this room? They didn't say it, but that's what it was. It wasn't like, who's going to like me? I'm timid and meager.
Yeah, they didn't care. They cared, but they didn't care. It was more about what that was going to fill their soul because they knew they were hardworking. They knew they had great values. They knew they had good ideas. Yes, they generated the money, and now they were going to enjoy it. And they wanted to be able to meet people that they were going to like because almost like they earned it. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
they did. They put the
Yeah.
hard work in. Yeah,
Yeah.
When I stopped the floral business, and it's like the Bluetooth thing, right? Like I feel in my heart, yeah, I did that, but I didn't put that 10,000 hours into branding to earn that. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So I
no, I
really
understand.
never pushed it until recently because you know what? It is a big name and it is a great accomplishment. Why not?
And it's one additional thing that you have done, which is so cool. So, Michael, I want to get back to these grandfathers at the deli or these older gentlemen at the deli. You're a kid, they're talking to you, you're soaking it up, you're learning. With your father being a doctor and your mother being a nurse, it's just very interesting that I'm assuming they had money being a doctor and a nurse, right? Did you grow up pretty wealthy?
Yeah, my dad grew up very poor and my mom. My
Okay.
mom grew up in Tacoma Park. And her dad was basically a merchant. My grandfather had a store. He was him and his wife had a store. And my dad's father used to work at Joseph Banks Clothing, and my grandmother used to work for the park department in DC. Right.
Yeah.
So my dad literally had to bust his ass. He had to go
Mhm.
through college, then he had to go to medical school and do all that stuff, and then
But
build
you
a
did
practice.
not grow up, but you were not entitled. How do you think that happened?
When I was younger, we were very poor. And as I got to be 4 or 5, then you start moving, moving the needle a little. My dad was open his own practice, but he always had an office in the house. So we lived in Silver Spring, and he had an office in the house. Then we moved to the Rockville, Windermere, wherever that is, the Tuckerman Lane area. And he always had an office in the house. So he would go to work all day and then come back and work at night. Right?
So you saw that, but when the wealth came for your family, you chose not to be entitled. You chose to keep your
No, I would
values.
ask for very nice things. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
I'm like, Dad, let's go, baby. I need that BMW. But no, he wouldn't. Yeah, no, I worked. They helped me a lot. Obviously, they paid for my education and
Yeah.
they supported us. Once I was out on my own, man, I was out on my own. Like I could not go back and be
Yeah.
like, Dad, I need money. No, I was on
Don't
my
you think
own.
Michael, don't you think it's unique that the other people that you saw, right, the grandfathers that you were talking to and the fathers that you were talking to just shared that the value seemed to decline? Your parents did very well at a certain point, yet your values did not decline. If anything, it seemed to have motivated you. Well, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Is that a fair statement?
100%, because you would see these people, and by the way, they're not rocket scientists, right? These people, they obviously they had the money to hire whoever they needed to hire to learn how to do whatever they were doing, and that's what they did, right? In real estate or whatever they're in.
What were you chasing then, Michael, when you started all of your businesses? What do you think you were chasing?
I want to say wealth, but that's not it. It's not. Is it for my ego? Maybe I'm a horrible narcissist. Maybe it's like, this is what I don't know. I honestly, Bart, don't think I've ever worked a day in my life. I really feel that way. Like it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think the only time I ever worked was like in that consulting business because I wasn't happy. I didn't love it. It wasn't stupid. It was like I don't know. I didn't like it.
And do you love what you do now?
I love what I do. Now is it's so glamorous. So when I decided to move out to Las Vegas, I met a man named Robin Leach from Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. And he also built a Food Network and Entertainment Tonight and did a lot of things with that, television stuff. So he literally saw what I did and took me under his wing. And for 15 years straight, this man, I never left his side. I learned everything I could from him when it comes to journalism. He would take the magazine because we were printing back then, and we would do our mock-ups, and he would change stuff. Then I had an office that I grew, and then we had an office. He would come to the office every month. Put this story here, move this here, get rid of that. That's crap. I don't like that. We learned everything. Sensational journalism, which is, if anyone doesn't know, it's headless woman found in topless bar. It's like, woo!
Yeah.
And he always said, always include pop culture. So we did that. And we always got the celebrities involved. Celebrities, other than getting paid for advertising and branding, they sometimes own things. So we did a lot of that, which was cool. And he always wanted that pop culture because he says, even if they're in the kitchen, they still care about what's going on around the world. With entertainment.
Yeah.
So
all right. So you came up with this symbol for Bluetooth. That's one of your accomplishments. Started a major American wholesale floral.
Yep.
Grew into massive growth. You know what I'm saying? And then next, you were essentially mentored by Robin Leach, Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous Robin Leach. I had no idea. And he helped give you ideas and mentored you to be able to excel with your food and beverage magazine.
Yes, and in production. So he would he would be like, okay, I remember the first week he was like, all right, we're gonna go and have, like, he's British. We're gonna have lunch at Spago with Wolfgang Puck. And Wolfgang Puck was the only celebrity chef at that. Paul Prudhomme, and he was the biggest. So we would get, and then we had lunch with Wolf, and then Wolf was like, come back. I told my lady, Michael, you come back next week and pick up some of my vendors, right? Lists. I'm like, oh my God, okay. I came back the next week. I had 2 binders this big full of all of his vendors for all of his restaurants. And he said, you call them and you tell them you're my friend and advertise.
Oh my goodness. All right. Greetings, everyone. This is Bart. I just want to take a few moments to thank our newest sponsor, Wishes.inc. Wishes is a next generation platform that delivers support to real people in real time. They have helped to reimagine what giving should feel like: fast, personal, and transparent. This is how it works. You go to wishes.inc, you discover a wish, you can see people that in real time need help, everything from medical supplies to school supplies, and they're posted by either individuals or nonprofit partners. You can then send your support instantly. The most brilliant thing is that you are going to get notified when your donation is delivered. You'll see photos, stories, and updates to prove why kindness matters. Thank you again to Wishes.inc.
It was big, and that's when. So then you start meeting all the chefs and different guys, and that was when Bobby Flay and Mario Batali and Guy was still in college. Guy Fieri, we knew him because he was in Vegas, so I knew him. So proud of him as my friend. So we all came up together.
Incredible. So Robin Leach essentially became the grandfather at Celebrity Deli for you, but in Las Vegas.
Yes, and then I started working for Extra, the TV show Extra, and entertainment, and Extra, E-Entertainment, and Us Weekly, and I would do all of the red carpets in Vegas.
The events,
so I would
production events?
I would do the interviews for them. And Robin would come and he would stand behind me and he would tell me what was good, what was bad, how to do it, how to engage, and we did it. And then we would go to party. Right?
What was the benefit to him, Michael? What do you think?
He was a helper. He loved helping people. There's a mass number of people that he's helped. So many people, and that's all. Nothing. Yeah. There's no benefit. I think the bigger I got, he would. I would always sort of. I don't want to say fight, but I would always. What's the best word to use? I would stand up for the little guy. In Vegas, you would have certain people that had like liquor distributorships that would they would tell restaurants. If you don't buy this, you can't have this, and you can't do that if you don't do the bullies. Bullies is basically it. And I would confront them. And I never stopped. And so there was a point where Robin was like, you need to calm down. You can't defend everybody. And I'm like, it's not fair. It's not nice. These people can't defend themselves. So I would always just, and it's in my book, right? I have a book, a textbook out now from Wiley Publishing, and I write about it. And it's, I'd like to think I made some changes and helped some people. And I saw the kids that were cleaning up the vomit in the nightclubs. Now they're the general managers, the owners of the nightclubs.
And I'm wondering I'm wondering if that goes back to the influence of a lot of the people that I asked to be on the show, Michael, either come from parents that were educators or parents that were in the healthcare field. So that giving part, because it's not easy being a doctor or a nurse to take care of people. And yet here you are taking care of other people. You're learning from others. You're soaking things in. And now all of a sudden you're helping people and you're standing up for the underdog, which is pretty darn cool, Michael.
Which I still do. I do not back down from that because I was there once. I was there building.
Yeah.
And I didn't have 14 million readers, and I didn't have that. And people would say to me, oh, we don't need, I literally had the biggest meeting of my life. And I was almost set up. I get into the meeting and one of the guys there goes, we don't need your effing magazine in this town. I said, whether you need it or not, it's happening. And I appreciate your honesty. And that started a horrible relationship. But that also was a driving force into the success because I realized you don't need me, or so you say. I'm just going to get the most readership I can, however I can get it. Yes. And that's what we don't critique. We never critique. We talk about success. And if one person reads it once a month and gets sparked that he wants to do something, then we've done our job.
Michael, how would we already shared that you are an entrepreneur and you are a curious person. You soak in learnings from others. You are also a helpful person. Are you a journalist? Are you a writer? Are you an event producer? What other words would you describe what you do? Because you have so many talents. What are 3 words that you would use to describe you and what you do?
I never thought about that because I don't really pigeonhole it and I don't put stuff into buckets. So I do everything. I love trafficking everything and doing everything, all the stories that come in through me. But I feel like I'm more of a vision, right? I see the end goal. I see what we're trying to achieve. And it's not money. It's not money. Yeah. It's helping and it's doing. And that all money comes if you do all that.
Agreed.
And my staff, like I go to these conventions and I just got back from Dallas and I had literally 120 meetings in 3 days, every 10 minutes, all day long for 3 days. Wow. I don't even remember what the people looked like that I was talking to when I'm getting the emails. I mean, it was that like, but I couldn't send anybody else to do that because they're not, they probably could, but they don't. Look at the big picture, see what somebody does and say, oh, this is where I can get, this is what I could do with them. This is how I can help them, which will then eventually help me. Or I won't take, like for liquor companies are like, oh, I'm only in 3 states. I don't want your money because it's going to be a waste. So let's just write an article. Let me help you. And then if you get big enough, you'll advertise that kind of stuff. And I've come up with other creative businesses, offshoots that were able to create revenue from those smaller companies as well.
Incredible. All right. So Food and Beverage Magazine, 23 plus years, 14 million readers. What do you see for the future of Food and Beverage Magazine?
Growth. We're just growing, nonstop growing. And then eventually I'll either legacy it to the kids. One's 8. So I'm not going to, come on, at my age. Or I sell it to a bigger publishing house. Somebody needs to control the industry, right? So the best buyer for me would be like craft food, right? They want to come in, write a big check, take over Food and Beverage Magazine and talk about how fantastic every one of their brands are, or ConAgra or whoever, or Unilever, whoever it is. They can do it. And I don't care. I'll be gone. Write me the check. And now I don't know what I would do.
Yeah, because you've never worked a day in your life because you enjoy what you're doing. What makes Food and Beverage Magazine grow and be so unique and different? Because I was a writer for a publication for a while, just a guest blog writer, and they had to change everything. They lost their staff. I don't even know if they're still around, What do you attribute the success and the growth of Food and Beverage Magazine? How are you doing it, Michael?
I stay focused on the end result. I stay focused. And it's not like I'm sitting there going, ooh, $100 million is coming. I just stay focused on the brand. This is brand. It's brand centric, right? We license the name, we have responsibilities. We have the only partnership with the largest newspaper in the world called the Hindustan Times. They run all the food and beverage stuff, magazines, stuff in all of their newspapers, all of over Southeast Asia and India. So it's really about the brand. So anytime I'm talking to somebody or I'm learning something, I may be a little outspoken and fun and wild, but it's about the brand. And we help. I do a lot of foundation stuff. I'm on the boards of a lot of foundations. It's nice to be able to, yes, there's celebrities involved. Right? That's okay. That's okay. I enjoy that part of it. I can't hide that. But we give a lot. We're working right now on the Mike Tyson event for his foundation. We're working on literally Bobby Brown, the Bobby Christina Hub for domestic violence. So we're working on a lot of Jeremy Renner. So these obviously they all become my friends and we have a great time doing it, but we're giving back, right? We're helping.
Yeah, giving back. And that's certainly the key. When you saw flowers and you're like, oh my gosh, I could do this better. When you saw publishing, oh my gosh, I could do this better. Is there anything that you could share that you see right now that interests you? Don't give away any true secrets, but is there anything else out there that you're like, oh my gosh, what an opportunity I could do
this. Oh my God, all the time, Bart. I opened hamburger restaurants. You know what I mean? Then I realized, oh my God, what was I thinking? I did it so well that I had lines out because I love little taverns where we grew up, right? And I'm like, I can do that. And no one ever does it. So I opened these little restaurants. God, there was lines out the door. We couldn't even keep up. I thought I knew everything, right? Like I didn't do that 10,000 hours of restaurant business. But when I started with the flowers, I went to work for a wholesale company to learn what's the process. How does this, right? It's all about process. And luckily I had Robin Leach to give me the process for publishing. Right? Yeah. So I've done that. It's fun. Technology wise, I try to stay way advanced. I'm like super into that. I see a lot of I would love to fix business. I know I can see where the flaws are and I know the problems, right? I know, okay, you don't have money for this. Some of these things you can reach, you can reach 1,000 people. So if you had a pizza shop, you could reach 1,000 people in your area for under $10. Did you know that?
I had no idea. No, would you share, Michael Politz?
No, I won't share, but I'm telling you, you can do it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's called geo-targeting. No, I'll share.
Got it.
It's called geo-targeting. And they don't do it. You can do it at 3 o'clock to 7 when you're peak hours. There's things that are inexpensive ways too. You don't have to answer your own phones anymore. I have another business, more than one, but one is called the Proof Awards. And it's a spirit and wine competition. We bring in all the big box buyers. If you have 200 stores or what a plus, we'll bring you in. We have Walmart and Target and JetBlue and Delta Airlines and Kroger and all these businesses, huge. And they are able to taste products they would never ever taste. Yeah. And they're like, I like that. Let me carry it. So it happens all the time. So now we're doing that. And that's called the Proof Awards. And I just now I'm launching the CPG Awards. The same thing for consumer product goods. If it comes in a box, bag, or a can, if it comes in a box, a bag, or a can, and it's not perishable immediately, we bring in the buyers from all the supermarkets and all that stuff, and they're able to do that.
So you are always looking for efficiencies, ways of doing it better. That's it, right? Efficiencies and ways of doing it better. And when there's something great enough, then you're going to pounce on it. And if it's not great enough, you're probably going to maybe share it with someone else that could benefit by doing it. And what would you tell our listeners that are waiting for the right time to start something? What advice would you give them?
I would say the right time is now. It's when you think about it, right? There's I have it. If you read the book, it's a whole thing about a yellow pad and a pen. I always have yellow pads everywhere. I'm always writing what I need to do. And I'm always behind, obviously, because now we're so big. But the point isn't even that. The point is, and I never stop working. So they say it's called work. I love it though. I'll jump out here and like last night, I was out till 2 up here on the computer till 2 in the morning diddling around. But I got to learn. It's stick-to-itiveness. But I see a lot of people give up quickly. And Bart, a good friend of mine who recently just passed away, a guy named Fiji, he's a big island music reggae star. He would always say, and I would always agree, nobody likes a quitter.
Nobody likes a quitter. What was the last part? It didn't come through.
Yeah. Nobody likes a quitter. That's it. Nobody likes a quitter. Quitters never, don't be a quitter. Let's go.
Yeah.
If you have an idea and you think it's, and I look at silly things all day long, recipes, this, that, even here's a product. This lady created a product. It's a straw, but it doesn't let you purse your lips so you don't get wrinkles. And they're selling it. So,
who would imagine?
Yeah, no idea is unfounded. You just have to learn and don't get sucked. Now, here's the issue with today's environment is you can go on, research something and get sucked down the wrong rabbit hole by a company that just wants to take your money, right? Yeah. I noticed myself whenever I go online and looking for whatever it is, whether it's AI help or this or whatever it is, the first button I click is pricing. And I don't know why that is. I literally was thinking about yesterday, why is that always the first button I click? Why is it always? And then you comparatively look at somebody's charging $149 a month and somebody else charging $22 or $11 a month for the same type of product. So I think you realize, okay, some of this SaaS, is that what that's called, Bart? SaaS?
Yeah, apparently.
As a service. What is it? Something as a service, right?
It's software as a service.
Software as a service. Interesting, right? How you and so you really have to not, I don't want to say not trust people, but it's super hard who you're gonna hook your wagon to.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And in fact, there's so many different AI tools that I'm using as a speaker and as a podcast host. And I invested $200 in one product. And then the next week, a product that I'm already using is incorporating everything that this one is already using, and I paid for the full year. So there's so many different ways of thinking about it. And it reminded me also, Michael, of a quote I heard just the other day, and I should probably find out who said it, but something along the lines of there's two great times to plant seeds. One was 20 years ago, and one is today. So don't wait to do the things that you are doing. So,
just
Michael,
do it smart. Do it smart, right?
Yeah, yes. And have fun while you're doing it. Because, Michael, I can see what motivates you. It is people, it's the chatter, it's the conversation, and it's the fun. That's what is keeping you up until 2:00. You're just having fun. It's not the money, it's not the big things. It's helping people, it's having fun, it's building something, it's challenging yourself, and it's also learning. Right? That is so special,
you're always learning.
Michael.
Always. Yeah. You should see my computer screen. I've got like tabs up everywhere. And it's like, oh, what can I do with this? What can I do with that? How can I? And now what it's become is whatever software or whatever it is, SaaS that I'm using, I push it to the limit. And I always wanted to be that guy. It's like taking your car out and getting to
and are you using different AI tools that you think would be helpful?
Oh yeah.
What do you like?
Perplexity. I love Perplexity. I love Pro ChatGPT. I do. Think that it's actually giving me a really good. I actually use it for personal engagement as well, other than like emails, like with my child's mother, kids' moms. You know,
how should I handle this response?
I'll snapshot the text and I'll put it in, read it, and it just tells me what to respond with.
Yeah, because you don't want to be emotional. You want to be kind. You want to be flexible. You want to be all those things.
Input, pre-input, right? So my salespeople go on. I have a whole different rooms in Perplexity, and my salespeople have a question. They go there first because everything's uploaded. How many viewers? How much is this? How many minutes are they on the site? Whatever the questions are for the request for proposals, right? And they get the answers right then and there, and it's all uploaded. That's what I love about that. Yeah, what else do I use? I'm trying to think. I use Marblism, which I love.
Marblism?
Marblism. Okay. I love it because it helps because you start thinking, what do you do in a business? You need to have commerce, so you need to have sales, so you need to go out and get leads, and you need to be able to contact these people. So that's like one whole facet of business, right? And you need to put up your social media on a regular basis. This is where people quit because if they don't get the views or whatever it is that they're getting, and whatever, I can't do it. Don't quit. Keep it going. They'll come. Yeah. And then I do the blog posting or articles, blog posting for lack of a better term. So if I have, and then I have, so all of this stuff is in one place for me. Right. And you're still designing it and creating it and moving it and whatever, but It's
It's
you have
helping you.
all. And I love this the Marbleism one because it tells you how many hours that you've saved by using them.
Okay, I'm going to check it
Right.
out as soon as we're done with the next call after this, Michael, for sure.
It's pretty cool.
If people want to get your book, Guide to Restaurant Success, can you direct us to a good place to be able to purchase it?
Just type my name into Amazon.
Okay, Michael Politz, Politz. The name of the book is Guide to Restaurant Success. I'm sad to say that I do not own it yet, but we are going to pick up a copy, and I'm going to make sure that you have a copy of our book. Most people don't, and why you should. Collection of little stories.
You have a book? I can't believe this. Talk to me about your book, Bart.
Yeah. Can you see it? Can you see it?
Yes. Let me see. Oh, that's adorable.
Our listeners should know it. Self-published about 10 years ago. We're almost done with our second book. But Michael, the fun thing about it is a collection of stories of observations that are interesting and easy to read. And it ends with a message that something that you can do. So as an example, silence is golden and sometimes sweet. So it gets into a little story, and then most people don't, right? Most people don't. The name of the company is Pause During Negotiations. So it's not just about hospitality. It's not just about service. It's about living better. My dog's feet smell like Fritos is a story. I'm allergic to gorillas is another story. So it's a fun pickup. Read a story, get energized, see how you can apply it and put it back down. Finally, two additional questions. And Michael, so thrilled to be able to talk to. In my mind, I'm putting you in celebrity status already. So that's you're in celebrity status. I don't know what that means, but I really enjoy learning so much more about you. You are a really special gentleman. Food and Beverage Magazine publisher and founder. Is there a website that we can direct individuals to for that?
It's fbmagazine.com. Food Beverage Magazine, fbmagazine.com.
Okay. Because a lot of our listeners are food and beverage related, event related, restaurants, entrepreneurs, students. So it's a nice wide variety of folks. I want to make sure
that people and they can email us and we'll do editorial on them. Let's get them moved. And it's here's the thing, it's what they do with that.
Yes.
You're now featured in Food and Beverage Magazine. Now, here's what do you do with that? It's not for me to say.
No,
I have a list of stuff that I think they should do with that, but it's what do you do with that?
And it's the same like this conversation, Michael. Once we are done, what are we going to do with it? One, we're going to promote it in our newsletter. It goes out to 13,000 people. It's not 500,000, but we got a nice open rate. It's going to LinkedIn, 17,000 subscribers. It's going to get pushed out, of course, in all the podcast channels, top 3 to 5. So it's going to be out there and we're going to use it. And then I'm going to use clips of what I learned from you to be able to celebrate that later. And if I'm meeting with a group and we want to talk about the importance of asking for help, using your resources and being curious, Michael, with your approval, I'm going to share a little clip of Michael Politz, founder, Food and Beverage Magazine. This is what he said with regard to this in front of 5,000 people.
Michael Politz will come do panels with you, Bart. All you have to do is tell me where to go and I'll be there.
All right. Amazing. Well, I want to make sure that
fun, but I'm a little bit wild. Like it's hard to control me. I don't want to be controlled. I love being. There's a lot of dirty words that come out of my mouth, Bart. A lot of F-bombs.
Yeah, but listen, but watch you today, right? You're probably pulling back a little bit out of respect. So thank you, because if you drop an F-bomb, then I can't click. It's not explicit whenever I promote it.
I didn't even think about an F-bomb today.
Thank you for not F-bombing. I have that effect on you. I would love for Terry and I and you, right, to be able to talk, if we can, just about ideas. You've done so much already. We're growing our business. Since she joined me first about a year ago, Michael, it is like this. Like there are dates that someone will say. And
between her and her sister, there are no, listen, the mother, Barbara, I looked up to Barbara. Barbara was an entrepreneur and she was a woman entrepreneur, an amazing human being. I absolutely adored everything about her. Anytime I was invited to their house, I would go. Now, of course, I was always in love with one of their friends. Go over there, and we would play. What is that? I don't even know the name of the game, but we would play when they have all the questions about life.
Backgammon or Roomy Cube?
No, the one with the cards, and the questions, and the.
I don't know.
But we would play games. Like we would sit with Barbara and play games.
Yeah. God rest her soul. We lost her way too early, but certainly nice to hear.
Michael, and the girls will tell you they remember me being there. I'm sure they'll be like, "Oh, Michael would come over all the time."
Oh, of course. And do you also know Terry's dad, Stephen?
Yes, not very
Okay.
well, not as well, because he
Okay.
was in
But also,
California.
okay, yes. Also an entrepreneur. Also
Yes.
started his own business, the Window Man, and had some really great success.
Do you know what he did that I'll never forget, though?
Tell me.
You ready for this? He was basically a salesman, right?
Yeah.
Traveling, doing
Yeah.
sales. He would take all the room keys and he had them all over the house as decoration. He would glue them or whatever he would do. It was like I'll never forget that.
Well, Michael, and
Monstrous.
we'll have to send you a picture, but he took all of the keys and he created a map of the United States. So if he had a key from Ohio, he would put it into the shape of Ohio, where Ohio is.
Right.
California keys would go on the West Coast. Just what creativity. So I'll send it.
Yeah.
Last question is this. Most people don't know the name of the company, the book, the podcast. Can you fill in the blank? Most people don't blank.
Most people don't take the first step.
And we can. Michael Politz has taken many first steps, and look at him. Founder of Food and Beverage Magazine, co-founder of Proof Awards. I love its PR percentage F Awards. Author of Guide to Restaurant Success. Politz is spelled Politz. Please connect with him, look him up, learn from him, support him. And Michael, what a true honor. You are a delight and seriously, like the energy of what you exude is pure fun and creativity. I'm so glad we got to spend this time, and I can't wait to see you in person, hopefully soon.
Yes, you're worth getting up early for, Bart.
Thank you, sir. All right, Michael, we will promote this soon. Thank you, and we'll talk sooner, okay? I appreciate it, Michael.
Bart. Amazing.
Good stuff,
Fine.
man.
All right.